Hello and welcome back to Film Smart. We have a plethora of topics to talk about today. The first being Hugh Jackman and Wolverine. Why don't you tell us some more about this, Josh?
Earlier today, he posted on Instagram a picture of the Wolverine claws coming out of his hand with the caption, "Wolverine, one last time." What do you think?
It's sad. I mean, he's been with the X-Men franchise since 2000. I mean, that's almost as old as us. But I just think it's a little surprising because we know if they had kept going, it'd be the geriatric X-Men. At some point you got to call it quits. These guys are getting old. Ian McKellen is almost 80.
Patrick's still there. It might as well be a nursing home.
Yeah,
for the X-Men, not Xavier's school.
That's why they're uncanny, because they're so old. But anyway, it's still sad because he's been with us for so long. It's like Robert Downey Jr. except 8 years longer.
They kind of made him the X-Men.
Yeah,
because when you think of that first, everybody goes, "Oh, Wolverine."
Yeah.
Because if they don't know what X-Men is, you go, "The one with Wolverine." Oh yeah. Why wasn't he in Avengers? And then it starts this long discussion.
Why wasn't Andrew Garfield? Why wasn't Amazing Spider-Man 2 part?
Wasn't Spider-Man in the Avengers cartoon? Why isn't he in the movies?
But beyond that, Hugh Jackman has been such a great Wolverine. But regarding the actual story, we think that the last film he'll be in will be the third Wolverine film, which comes out March 3rd, 2017, which is about exactly 2 years from now. And then we assumed he was going to be a cameo, or really a lot of people assumed he would play a big role in Apocalypse.
Yeah, I assumed that too.
After Days of Future Past.
Because it seems like the things he did in Days of Future Past might be the whole reason Apocalypse happens.
Yeah, so I whatever. But I don't know how you can just make him the main character and then say...
he's not going to be in it.
Yeah, I don't know. But hopefully he'll have a cameo. He might not consider a cameo another time playing Wolverine. He might just... That's a one and done thing, like First Class. And some people speculated he might be in Deadpool or Gambit.
I'd love to see him.
That's probably up in the air now. So maybe Wolverine 3 will be his last time and a cameo in Apocalypse. But that'll have only almost been 20 years by the time X3 comes out, or Wolverine 3 comes out. So we'll see. But it is sad news still, I think. What's our next topic?
It was that the Deadpool costume was revealed, I think, 2 days ago. And I think there was a pretty positive reaction across the web.
It was funny.
It was pretty funny.
Apparently it was spoofing an early 70s picture of Burt Reynolds. So, apparently, we'll display the picture in our video. He's laying on the bear. The pose is totally something Deadpool would do. He's a very self-aware character. He's very funny. He's kind of spoofy. The Slade Wilson. He's kind of a little spoofy of a Deathstroke, and he's also kind of has the cocky and funniness of Spider-Man. But I love the suit because he has all the weapons, his all arsenal. He has the mask and everything. The mask shows his expression. Like one eye is bigger than the other. You can actually see some expression, which is unusual, uncanny for a lot of superheroes. I hear a lot of superhero people who played superheroes complained about how they can't show some expression when they play the superhero. Speaking of X-Men, like James, who plays Cyclops?
James Marsden.
Yeah, Marsden. He complained about not being able to show a lot of emotion for the audience.
That might be the lack of lines,
and that also might be due to a whiny Cyclops. But anyway, that's the emotion you conveyed to me. But Deadpool looks really funny, and I think he looks like he was pulled straight out of the comics.
Yeah, they literally took the comic and ripped it right out.
I want him to have his little teleporter thing, though. He has like a silver.
He'll probably get it eventually.
Yeah, I want him to have that on his chest. But beyond that,
this is perfect.
It almost, I will say, it almost looked animated though.
Yeah, which is, I think, something perfect for Deadpool. To almost, because he is so animated as a person, as a character. He's just all over the place, and I just hope.
And I wonder if this picture is any indication that he'll break the fourth wall.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I hope that he breaks the fourth wall, because that is something he does, and something that makes him so funny and so
But
it brings you in.
If he does do that, we have to remember we were just talking about Wolverine. He's part of the X-Men franchise. He's part of that universe now, which probably includes Fantastic Four as well. So you're gonna have all these serious movies that are movies, and then you're gonna have this guy breaking out of the movie. Like,
hopefully they only do it in Deadpool. I can see if they have him in X-Men and he doesn't do it, or they could still do it, but it would have to be in obviously not a scene where everybody's dying.
Yeah, it would just, I don't know. I would be. It's interesting. I'm worried that you're gonna have all these serious movies, garbage or not, like X-Men Origins Wolverine. That you're gonna have all these movies, Fantastic Four, Days of Future Past, and then you're gonna have Deadpool breaking the fourth wall. How is this gonna fit in the world? Like, I know all these people are very different and they all have their own different things going on, but there still has to be some unity. So I don't know. I'm a little weary of that, but we'll see. I did like the picture. I think Ryan Reynolds is really into this character. I think he really is excited about redeeming it after the Merc with the mouth had his mouth covered. So I'm excited.
I was such a fan.
Garbage.
Can't believe that movie even came out.
Yeah. But he was, at the beginning of that movie, he was very good. So I think he's really going to do a good job on this, because honestly, every time he's played a superhero, it hasn't really been his fault, but the movie around it has just been like in Blade Trinity, it's just a terrible movie. Green Lantern, terrible movie.
X-Men
Origins Wolverine, terrible movie. He was fine. I don't really think he fit as Green Lantern, but he was fine in all those roles. But it just hasn't been lucky. So I don't know. We'll see how this movie really fits into the big cinematic universe, the Fox Marvel Cinematic Universe. We'll see. What's our next topic, Josh?
Actually, 3 trailers that came out. These all look incredible. Yeah. But we're going to start by talking about the Spectre trailer.
Yes. Yesterday, on Friday, March 27th, we got a trailer to James Bond's Spectre, or I guess just called Spectre.
Yeah.
It was just called Skyfall, so yeah. So we got a trailer to Spectre, which is the new James Bond movie coming out, I think, November 24th of this year. And we know Christoph Waltz is playing the villain, Dave Bautista is playing a henchman, Naomi Harris is back, Ray Fiennes is back, Daniel Craig is back, obviously. Anne isn't back, spoiler, she was killed. So it's kind of sad, but I was disappointed. But to this trailer, phenomenal.
Oh, amazing.
I mean, this trailer had so many great shots.
Oh, I know.
The shots and the music made this trailer. You don't really know what the movie's about. It's kind of like Rogue Nation or Hydra, where you have this big evil organization that's kind of trying to take out everybody. But let's go over some of our favorite parts. I love the shot of the opening shot, where you see the blown up building. It kind of reminds me of Skyfall when they blew up the MI6 headquarters. So I don't know if that's the same, if that's like referring to the same movie, if that's just a different angle of it, maybe, and it's kind of like a flashback to Skyfall or something. I don't know, but I love that shot with the opening, with the music. What was something you really took away from this trailer?
The ending when they get on Christoph Waltz when he's all, it was like we finally meet or something like that, and it's been, well, we're finally here, and oh god, that music, it seemed like they were playing like a triangle or something. Dun, dun, oh my gosh. And then when it goes with the little thing at the end, it goes Spectre, and then it gets the classic music. I've never felt so exhilarated for a
I haven't felt like so exhilarated for a movie since the Star Wars trailer came out back in November of last year. That was the last time I really was like, oh my gosh. Like, I just can't wait for this movie to come out. Christoph Waltz, it was made to be a Bond villain.
He is. He's made for everything. There's nothing he can't play.
And this, I wouldn't be surprised if he keeps it up. He might get himself an Oscar nomination for James Bond. I don't know, but he's won. Did he win? I know he won for Django. I think he might have won for Inglourious Bastards too. So when he gets a nomination, he wins. And then I love the shot of James Bond on a boat, and it's going to this snowy mountain. We saw in their featurette, that must have been where they were filming the featurette, and we see them going to the snowy mountain and everything. I really love that shot. That was a beautiful shot. The cinematography looks, I mean, the rest of it could be garbage. But if this is any indication, they have some really good cinematography going on. I really liked what I saw. And I love the shot of, or not the shot, the scene when he's talking to the guy.
Oh, yeah.
And he's saying you're like a kite dancing in a hurricane.
Ooh.
And that, I'm assuming that means you can't handle this Spectre organization. They're going to kill you.
Yeah, you're going to get swept up. Like
you can't handle it. You're a kite in a hurricane. It's going to get destroyed. So this movie seems very intense. There was not a lot of happiness in this movie or in this teaser. It was really serious. I mean, they're always serious, but this was really serious. This seemed like the music coupled with shots. It was dark. There was another shot at a church which I loved.
Yeah. Oh god, that was such a good shot.
So yeah, one agent movie to the next. Mission Impossible: Rogue Nation came out. The teaser and the trailer the next day, which are essentially the same thing. I saw both, and I kind of prefer the teaser because it just showed me all I needed to see. Like the trailer, people are saying the trailer is so much better, but it didn't tell me any more about the movie. So, okay. But anyway, beyond that, the trailer. That was another
gosh.
Movie. This was a happier trailer than James Bond, I would say.
Yeah.
There's a lot. It's for one, it's brighter. You know, the other one felt like a Christopher Nolan movie. Now we're going. This is like an Avengers movie. If you're going to think about it, this was really cool. We have Tom Cruise back again. He's like 52 and he's kicking butt.
I'm gonna say he's still doing it.
He's still doing it. Jeremy Renner's back. Ving Rhames is back. Ving Rhames wasn't in the last one really. He was like in I think a quick shot at the very end, but he didn't play a role in the last one. So actually, I think it's kind of interesting how they kind of actors take a break for a movie and then they come back. Avengers could maybe do that in the future. But I think that the trailer was really good. What were some of your favorite parts of it?
That shot where like the BMW, he like turns it and then all those motorcycles are around.
I love that shot with the music. Oh, that was so cool.
Oh, I mean, all the shots where like the girl when she's in that green dress, I guess. Yeah, yellow, green. And she jumps on top of the guy. I mean, I just love how fast paced it works and all the fight choreography, and I like how calculated everything looks. I was looking for the right word, but I mean,
knife going through the cloth.
Oh yeah,
that's cool.
Right when you hold it. Oh my gosh.
The motorcycle shot was really. It was when the guy was pointing the motorcycle. The way he pointed, it was so cool. He was on the motorcycle, and then you see the explosion
when he jumps into that like fountain thing.
Oh, that was perfect when he just And then obviously the money shot was him getting on the plane. Now we all know in a Ghost Protocol, Tom Cruise actually climbed the tallest building in the world. He was strapped to that building. So that was a real stunt. None of that was fake. And he even signed his name at the top of it, I think. And now, on this one on the plane, I don't know if this is news to anybody watching this. He is actually strapped to that plane at the end of the trailer. That is really him on side of a. I don't know what you call those types of planes. Those are like a military plane.
Yeah.
He was really strapped on that big bulky plane.
Incredible that he was able to do that. I think.
And talk and act.
Yeah.
Now we have a theory that maybe he had like a windbreaker,
something like to just break up some of that wind so he could breathe.
But it had some holes maybe in it so that he could actually look like he was in the wind, but so he could still talk though. Because him and Simon Pegg were having an exchange. So when you see Simon Pegg going, "Oh my God," you're going, "Oh my God" too, because he really is doing it. Simon Pegg really meant, "Oh my God," because he's doing it.
I can't believe he did that. I would be terrified to be on the side of the plane. I don't care how strapped in you are. You're on the side of a plane.
I don't know. Tom Cruise, the next one, he's going to have to go to space or something. That's the only way to go top yourself now. And then the next one, he's going to have to like jump from Mount Everest into space. Like I don't know what you do. Maybe he'll go to the bottom of the ocean without a mask.
Oh,
and see how. I don't know how his head would explode, but whatever. We'll see. See how he does it. He'll find a way. If there's a will, there's a way with Tom Cruise. I was like, there's no way he was on that plane. No, he was on it.
Yep.
So he's crazy. But I think he's really a great actor devoted to action films now. I mean, he's a great dramatic actor. Let's not forget he's three-time Oscar nominee, but also very devoted to these action movies. And these Mission Impossible movies look better and better every time.
Oh, every time.
And Rogue Nation is kind of like Spectre and Hydra, so we've 3 in a row. But hopefully it'll be good. I'm looking forward. And remember, it was supposed to come out in December. Now it comes out the end of July. So it moved early. And then the last trailer was
Southpaw.
Southpaw, yes. That's the new Antoine Fuqua directed movie. He directed movies like Training Day and The Equalizer. Training Day got Denzel Washington his Oscar. This one has Jake Gyllenhaal, and he kind of has like a Jake LaMotta, Raging Bull. Robert De Niro played him. kind of has a feel like that, but he got in with the wrong people. It kind of reminds me of The Fighter, and then his character kind of reminds me of Jake LaMotta. So it looks interesting. I'm weary of the director Antoine Fuqua because he's had some bad ones. He's had some good ones. He's kind of hit or miss. Rachel McAdams looks fine. She looks good. Forrest Whitaker's in it. I'm excited. The main reason I'm excited is Jake Gyllenhaal looks really good.
There's no reason not to see a Jake Gyllenhaal movie, even if it gets a 1% seeing it.
Yeah, which
might not pay.
One of his did just get a 0%. But anyway, regardless, this looks good. I mean, he looks good inside the role. The Forrest Whitaker looks good, and the fact that it's a boxing movie. I'm a big fan of boxing movies. I love Raging Bull. I love The Fighter. So I mean, I'm really excited to see how Jake Gyllenhaal can come back after his recent outing. David O. Russell's movie. I can't remember what it's called, but it has a 0% on Rotten Tomatoes. It was made like 3 years ago. They put it on the shelves. Wonder why. But then they decided to release it now. So we'll see how that turns out. But Southpaw, I hope it's good, but I'm a little worried because 50 Cent is also in it. So, and he also seems like he's playing a substantial role.
He has a real role. That's the only problem with it. If he was just in it to be like 50 Cent himself, I wouldn't have a problem.
Instead, he actually has a role. But we'll see. Another topic, another big thing, Jesse Eisenberg.
The first look at Lex Luthor.
Yeah, I really liked it. I know it's just a picture. The movie might suck, whatever. But he might suck. But the picture, if the picture's any indication, he looks like Lex Luthor.
Yeah, everybody was saying, oh, he's never going to look like Lex. He's never going to do this. He's never going to do that. He doesn't look big enough. He might not be huge, but he does look intimidating. Yeah. He looks so calculated, arrogant, just so smart. He's everything that goes against Superman. I can already tell he's going to destroy him. Not just physically, but he is going to, try his best to destroy Superman.
Yeah, and, some people were saying, I know, Grace Randolph on Beyond the Trailer, who I'm a fan of, she was talking about how his portrait, looks similar to Steve Jobs' portrait on his memoir that was published that came out after he died, soon after he died, and I think it was Steve Wozniak wrote it, or maybe was it somebody else? I think it was Steve Wozniak, but that might have been his friend. I can't remember, but it was somebody like that, and the picture looks kind of similar. So some people like her are saying maybe he is a Steve Jobs-like character, which is an interesting idea because Steve Jobs was known to be kind of very mean. He was a very mean man to his co-workers. I mean, he wanted the best out of them, but he could be a very violent, or not violent, I should say, very, very assertive.
Verbally abusive.
He was a very angry man when he was doing... when he was working, and similar to Lex Luthor, you know how Lex Luthor gets kryptonite poisoning or cancer, and sometimes that's the reason why he goes bald, which I like. Steve Jobs, he got cancer, I think it was pancreatic cancer, and he tried to deal with it holistically, so no regular medicine, and it ended up actually killing him because he didn't use regular medicine. He probably would still be alive if he had used regular medicine, maybe. And so maybe you have a similar thing,
using some parallels.
Lex Luthor is trying to test his body, he's testing things on him to make him more powerful.
He could be using that DNA. People have been saying he's going to use the DNA. What if he's using the DNA for human testing? If he uses that, he gets the cancer from doing all this kryptonite stuff. He uses the DNA to reinvent. Oh God! Oh, we just came up with some awesome stuff.
But I also heard her say, and some others, that they don't want him in the super suit because the great thing about Lex Luthor is that it's him versus Superman. It's just with his mind. He doesn't need physical force. He has people for that, but it's him challenging him with his mind against Superman's will to kill somebody because Superman doesn't want to kill him, but he tests him so much because Lex Luthor does so many bad things.
I love Lex Luthor.
And Lex Luthor is really good at pretending as a good guy.
Oh yeah, he is.
And it's important to mention in this picture he looks like he's in a jail suit.
Oh yeah.
So I don't know if that means he's in jail. Maybe Amanda Waller is about to talk to him, and he's like, oh. So,
I mean, there were rumors he was in Suicide Squad.
Yeah, that he still might be. That'd be so cool to see Lex Luthor and Joker together. But
Could you? Like in what was that one thing? The Batman Superman crossover when they make the deal to take. Oh my gosh! If that happens,
1997.
Could you imagine?
That would be so cool. Because I'm going to go out on a limb. I'm going to predict Jared Leto and Jesse Eisenberg are going to get Oscar nominations at some point.
For their performances.
I don't think they will. Maybe in I don't think Jesse Eisenberg will for Batman versus Superman. Mm-hmm. But when he is
the Superman villain.
Because I don't know how big of a role he's going to play in that. Maybe he does have a big role. Maybe
I hope he's the main villain.
But if he's like in a Superman 2 role or a Justice League role where he's really the villain, I think he's going to get himself an Oscar nomination. I think Jared Leto is poised to get himself because for one, the Joker won Heath Ledger an Oscar. Not to say that he will be like him, but I think Jared Leto just won an Oscar. He's one of the best actors working right now. I think he is poised to get himself an Oscar nomination for the Joker. I think he's really going to go into it, especially if they're trying to do like the Silence of the Lambs type thing, where Hannibal Lecter's in jail and they're like asking him for help to get these people. So I don't know. We'll see. But I think at some point, both in these next 7 years, they're both going to get Oscar nominations for their roles. So I'm really excited about that. So we'll see. And then what's our last topic?
Our last topic is that Joe and Anthony Russo are going to direct Infinity War Part 1 and 2, which is the third Avengers installment.
Yeah, third and fourth ones. I think it's news. I mean, it's not good or bad. I say it's not good because these guys might get worn out. They have just directed Winter Soldier, which was excellent, which is why I was excited they're doing Civil War. But then they're doing Civil War. So that's two huge movies in a row. I mean, people would kill to direct half of one of those movies. And then they get to direct all four of them. That's a big task to take on for two guys who used to direct episodes of Community and You, Me, and Dupree. So it's you have to be careful with these guys. I'm not saying they're not talented. I'm not saying they aren't capable of this. I'm just saying they could get their minds melted from doing all. I mean, it's not like they're doing all solo outings. They did Captain America: Winter Soldier, which by the way had the Winter Soldier, Black Widow, Falcon. I mean, Nick Fury.
Civil War's gonna be even more.
Civil War's gonna have like Avengers. They call it Avengers like 3.8 or something. And then. Why is that not 4? And then we have Infinity War Part 1, which is an Avengers movie, which is going to be huge. It's going to encompass the entire universe. We're talking Infinity War Part 1 or 2. One of them is going to probably have Guardians and Inhumans and Black Panther and Miss Marvel and Iron Man and Captain America and Black Widow and Hulk and the Defenders and Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.
There's no way. I just really hope that they have had this planned the entire time and that they know who's going to be in this movie. Because everybody expects for the Guardians to be in there. Everybody expects Inhumans and all that. Everybody expects all these things. Because if they're going to introduce them before, you can't just go, oh, well, they don't care about Thanos.
The Guardians are going to... The Guardians...
They are literally, like, a
Thanos
product
was
of
in
him.
The Guardians of the Galaxy. Well, Gamora is his daughter.
They spend time, like, their whole... Oh, God.
They're going to be in it. I don't know if everybody's going to be in the first and second one. I think the Guardians I think the Guardians will have to be in the first one because they're going to be so pissed at Thanos. It's going to be the Avengers and Guardians. I think in the second one you're going to see the Inhumans come in and some other people like Miss Marvel who may have not been in the first one, and along with other people because the Guardians are going to want to get. I think the Guardians have the most weight on this game because you have Gamora, who's his daughter. These guys, they got Ronan the Accuser. I mean, Avengers do too because of what he did, coercing Loki and everything.
What if Loki turns and helps them?
Just for that time, and then he'll be back to...
he reveals himself that he's not Odin.
But we'll see what's happening when Thor Ragnarok. But I don't know. These guys are very good at what they did for Winter Soldier. I'm excited about Civil War, which I think is going to be an excellent film. Mm-hmm. But I hope it's not their last excellent film because Infinity War Part 1 and 2 need to be good. These are huge movies that we have been building up to since 2008. And if they're just bad, because there's the end of the phases, but Infinity War Part 1 and 2, I think they've kind of that marks an end of an era.
Yeah.
When Infinity War Part 2 is over, like Avengers was an end of a phase.
Yeah, you've been building up to Thanos, so once you use him, he better be incredible, or we're all gonna be like, that was anticlimactic.
And yeah, this is being encompassing everybody. So you need to have this be good. This has involved a lot of people. So after Infinity War Part 2, things are going to change. People are going to be dead and not really coming back. Like, I think some people are going to die and then they're going to come back. Infinity War Part 2, people are going to die and they're not coming back. Or at least actors will be leaving and they're not coming back.
Yeah.
So they need to make this well. Everybody needs to go out with a bang on this one, because this marks the end of an era for Marvel. Marvel's going to be doing some different things. They're going to be introducing properly Punished. They're probably going to be going into a darker area now, introducing characters like Punisher and Ghost Rider, and bringing in the Defenders characters into the movies. I think they're after you go to the Infinity War, you have to go to a smaller scale. So you're kind of going to do that now, and then they'll come back to the big scale in 20 years. I don't know. Who knows? But maybe they'll call it quits after that for a while.
Yeah.
Who's to say how Marvel will do in the future? But they
had movies planned until 2022.
Yeah. Oof. 2028.
Oh yeah, 2020. Yeah, they did move it back.
But they need to go out with a bang on this one. So these guys, they have a good team behind them. They have Kevin Feige. I'm sure Joss Whedon's probably going to write some things for them. I don't think he's just going to leave all of a sudden. He's going to do things. But he was limping after 6 months into Avengers 2. So if he's tired, these guys are going to be tired after doing 4 of these huge, massive movies that directors would kill to have. And they get all 4 of them, so they better do well. People are putting a lot of trust in them. Marvel's putting a lot of trust in them, I'm sure.
Could you imagine getting that call? Hey, you're directing our 2 biggest. I mean, those movies are probably gonna be multi-billion. Probably gonna make $2 billion each.
But it's probably an indication that they like what how Civil War's going. Like their ideas for it and how it's being carried out, hopefully. But they still have a lot to film for that movie.
They do.
So that doesn't come out until May of next year. That's more than a year out. They have a lot. I think they've started filming, or if they haven't, they start very soon.
Yeah.
But you can't just make a jump decision just because Winter Soldier was really good. But maybe they'll be. I think they'll be good for Civil War. We'll see how they do with the next 2. I hope so. Tell us your thoughts about these things, because I know these are a lot of we talked about a lot of big things happening. What are your thoughts on Lex Luthor and Wolverine and Infinity War and these trailers? Like, subscribe. We're going to post some stuff on the blog. We actually have some ideas now. We're going to be expanding the channel, I think, to do some more like history of film ideas. I think that will be really cool. So check those out. We'll tell you when they're going to start coming. And we're going to be filming some more videos in the next few days. Few more news videos. So get excited about that. And you know what to do. Stay film smart.